Super Mario Brothers. Whee!
New Super Mario Bros. Wii is a pretty big game for the system, not just because it's a Mario game, but also because it was an evolution to New Super Mario Bros., which in itself was an evolution on Super Mario Bros. I did want to hold off on my first Mario video for quite a while, but I'm not gonna wait. I just thought it'd be more fun to just do it whenever. I feel like New Super Mario Bros. Wii shows off a lot of why I love this franchise, so without further ado, let's dive deep into the controller and play
New Super Mario Brothers. Whee!
Gonna keep this short and address it now, as this was a big selling point to the game, but I couldn't record it for this video. The multiplayer. While DS had a co-op side mode, this was the first time you could actually play a mainline Mario game with more than one player on the screen at once. As for the characters, I don't hate the lineup like others do, but I mean, just two Toads is the best they could do. Why not Wario and Waluigi? I mean, Waluigi, still in the big 2026, hasn't even appeared in a mainline Mario game yet. Only spin-offs. If they didn't want these rivals as playable characters, add the iconic Toad and Daisy, that would have been really cool. One thing I do like is the fact that all four characters have their own colour, but they didn't need two Toads to do that. I still like them, I just think they could have done something better. There's also the multiplayer modes, like not the main campaign, but they're kind of boring and just not well made. There's only a small selection of levels you can play on them anyway. The controls for this game rule. They could have just been like, oh, you need a nunchuck, but instead you actually use the Wii remote like an NES controller. That is really clever. There is also motion controls I think were well handled, just with simple shakes and tilts. The motion controls just being simple tilts and shakes is really good, it's really appreciated, and I'm glad they didn't do anything too gimmicky with this. This way it's just a lot more simple and feels like a natural way of using the Wii remote, instead of, look, we've got motion controls, look, motion controls, motion controls, motion controls. Now for the story. Stop me if you've heard this one before. Peach gets kidnapped and you gotta beat Bowser to save her. One thing I do like though is the way they do it here. It's Peach's birthday and Bowser sends the Koopalings in a giant cake to then capture her. It's a pretty damn creative idea. Also damn, imagine being kidnapped on your birthday. Someone help! Someone help! Shut up, Liam Neeson will hear you. I also got to shout out the fact that the Koopalings here for the most part work oddly really well as fancy cake toppings. I wonder what fruit these would be. I respect when Nintendo do something unique with these plots, as it's always about saving somebody, so might as well have fun with it. I mean, after this, you would have Bowser throw Mario and the gang out. Peach would literally just be captured in her own castle. That's a cool idea. Mario Wonder just says fuck it, Bowser is the castle now. Is this that Ghibli movie everyone likes? As for this adventure, we have the same themes this sub-series of platformers always do. Grass, desert, snow, water, jungle, rock, sky, and lava. Now let's look at the power-ups. These are handled really well, with some issues. So the mushroom makes you big, fire flower lets you become a literal flamethrower, star makes you tiny shroom makes you the size of Sony's brain during critical decision making. We've seen this all before. But what about the new super items in this new super game? Well, the ice flower from Galaxy returns, but it plays nothing like before. I couldn't see the way that it worked in Galaxy working here in 2D, and neither could Nintendo apparently. What they do instead is, instead of being Elsa from Frozen for a bit, it's a parallel to the Fire Flower. I mean, if you have an ice flower, it makes sense. You see, a Fire Flower just has you hit the target, boom, you are dead, no big surprise. With the ice flower though, it freezes them. This then allows you to have to kill them in a different way, but then there's other advantages like being able to use them as a platform or throw them at another enemy. The idea of having to kill them in a time limit before they unfreeze too does remind me of the Ice Plasmid. I like that these two have their own trade-offs that make them good, but not like any replaces the other. The Ice Flower can't hurt bosses, but the Fire Flower can. Another example is the Ice Flower can then freeze dry bones, but then the Fire Flower does nothing on a dry bones because they're fireproof, just like people's bones in real life. For legal reasons, I should probably say you shouldn't try setting yourself on fire at home, but if I need to tell you that, there's definitely other issues that need addressing. Finishing these guys off often does also just look like Mario's secretly Sub-Zero or something. Hey, a fight for the Link Way, wahoo! The penguin suit's up next, and to be honest, I'm not a fan of how this was implemented. It's a good item, but it's literally just the ice flower, but with sliding and faster water traversal. It just replaces the ice flower, and like, yeah, it's rarer, but why is the penguin suit in the game at that point? I feel like you could just say, oh, we'll just have it without the ice ability and then it'd still be a cool item on its own. Yes, but then it would have the downside of being situational, as I feel like this is, out of all items, going to have a lot of issues with certain levels. So many of the levels clearly aren't built for the penguin slide. So because of that, it has the ice thing, so then it can still be useful in any level. But then at that point, just do a different item entirely. What if instead of this, we had the bee mushroom from Galaxy? Hear me out, it's a goofy animal item, but then on top of that, instead of being a parallel to the fire flower, it's a parallel to the next item, the propeller. What I mean by that is the propeller focuses on vertical exploration, so what if the bee focused on horizontal, with you being able to fly over gaps easier? Speaking of which, the propeller mushroom, it's the last new item here. It gives you a strong vertical rise and slow descent. The descent can also be sped up. This may sound broken, but due to the level design of this game, a lot of the time it's really not. You can't just fly over everything all the time and get your own way. And trust me, that goes especially so in the later levels. The game has mushroom houses where you can play this pretty fun minigame to get items. These items you can then bring into a level with you. It's a matching game where you have to get 2 of the same power up, but you can't get 2 Bowsers or 2 Bowser Juniors. That ends your run immediately. Has anyone watching this ever got all items in the minigame? Like, I've never done that before. Let me know in the comments. Like and subscribe, by the way. I should mention that after you play this minigame, the house goes away. The only way to get it back for another try is if you game over. There is also star houses that give you a star, and 1-up houses where you have a minigame for 1-ups, but let me tell you now, lives are not a priority in this game, because if you've played a few Mario games before, this one is not that difficult. Unlike me though, if you do game over while playing this game, it does count your game overs. That's kind of cool. I've not really seen that before in a video game. Like deaths, yeah, but not game overs. As you play the game, you collect star coins, and getting them is really fun. Even if you don't really use what you're meant to use the star coins on, they're just fun to go for. These often use the power-ups and mechanics of the game at your disposal in pretty interesting ways. They also just reward you for looking around more. What you actually spend these on isn't that good. Literally just help videos for levels and such from Peach's Castle. You really don't need this unless this is like your first Mario game ever. For the most part, these are just either really useless or pretty interesting niche tactics that the developers come up with. After you beat the game though, getting all star coins in one world accesses its level in World 9. That's kinda cool at least. As for the levels themselves, I gotta say, these are great, and I've forgotten to replay how great they really were. While the game isn't the most challenging thing out there, it's still challenging enough, and it's really fun. There's a wide variety of enemies and all sorts of things you need to deal with. No 2 levels ever feel the same in this game. The level design and world itself it brings so much to the table. It really is impressive. It feels like there's always something new around every corner, whether it's just a new obstacle or a new enemy, a new idea for a level. I love so much how unique every level feels. I love so much that no world's like, okay, I'm playing the same sort of 5 levels again. Next world, I'm playing the same sort of levels, this time in a desert. Next world, repeat. I like that everything stands out. When they pull bigger gimmicks out, they also work really well. One example here is how we have a darkness level where you have limited light with blocks of light or fire or stars providing more light for you. Another example is this insanely fun raft level. You need to keep enemies off your raft. If there's 5 coins or enemies on your raft, it stops. From there, you have to deal with them. When they've gone down, it moves again. Hell, cut to a later level and both of these ideas are merged together, but that's not the end of it. On top of that, you have to control the light yourself. That's really cool. I should also mention that the movement, the platforming, everything just feels so tight and satisfying even in the simpler levels. There's also hidden exits that can lead to cannons that lead you to world skips. That's really cool. I know previous games had world skips too, but I like that it's a canon in this game and DS. I mean also 2 and U, but they weren't out when this game came out. There's so many more examples of unique ideas in levels I could give, like the fog that follows you trying to take Mario into the Entities realm. I could talk about the volcano raining lethal rocks down upon you, lava waves that can insta-kill you, these flying stingrays you need to jump across, the sandstorm, the sand geysers, 100 other things. There's just so much in the gameplay, and it's really appreciated. It shows that Nintendo didn't stop caring at all. There is also areas hidden by walls and such, but these are never hard to spot. Well, never too hard to spot. There's always a hint of some kind, whether the terrain looks off, whether the texture on some walls is a little different. There's always a clue. One thing that isn't appreciated here though is the Toad rescue levels. You see, in these side missions you go back to a previous level and you need to carry Toad out to the end. You get lives to this that you really don't need, but just the gameplay isn't even fun. Like, you find Toad, pick him up, can't use any power-ups really. Fun, question mark? I mean, I guess these aren't awful or that bad, but these just aren't fun and kinda remove a big part of why you're playing a Mario game. There's the Toad rescue enemy encounters. These are more my speed. You have enemies that you need to try to avoid, but if you hit one, a battle breaks out. From there you need to collect Toad's balls and try to avoid and kill the enemies. If you collect all the balls, the enemies die immediately and you get free mushrooms to then be able to bring into levels. I should also mention here the fact that yes, you can bring any item into a level as long as you have one, but the super mushrooms are the best, like by far. It's not even a contest. Yes, most power-ups have more to them than just being big, but when it comes to the super mushroom, you're just getting big, but then you access a level, and most levels have a power-up at the start. This way, if you're just in super mushroom form, you then get what is most likely the best item for the job, after just having that mushroom and not wasting one of your special items. I won't say there's no situation where you should bring in a different item, especially when you don't have any mushrooms left, but I do think it's kind of weird how the most basic item is the most useful one. I should also mention, because of the enemy encounters, I had way more mushrooms than any other item despite the fact that I was using more of them. The enemies that engage the encounters, they usually can choose to move or not while you're moving around too. The lava bubbles have their own pattern you have to follow, which is a cool difference though. As for the normal enemies on the map, I do wish they were forced to move every time, that way it feels like more of a puzzle when trying to avoid them. I still like the way it's handled here, I just think it could have been done better. They also did bring back Yoshi, but it wasn't handled the best way. I mean, not bad, but not great either. You see, in Super Mario World, if you had a Yoshi, you had it till you lost it. Exactly like a power-up. In this game though, Yoshis are just restricted to certain levels, and that's the end of it. The amount of levels you can actually use the Yoshi into is extremely small. I wouldn't have that much of an issue with this, I'd still question it, but I wouldn't have that much of an issue if there wasn't free on the damn box art. I only played 2 levels with Yoshi in them in this playthrough. For the second one, I just used the propeller most of the time anyway. I know people also joke about New Super Mario Bros. DS and the Mega Mushroom, but here's the thing with that. At least with that, there was Mega Mushroom houses, so then you could bring that item into whatever level you wanted. With Yoshi, it's just a few tiny restricted levels, but then again, it takes up a lot of the box art. It really reminds me of the startup screen from Crash Bandicoot 2, where it's Crash in the jetpack, but then there's like 3 levels I want to say that actually use the jetpack. I feel like the best way they could have used Yoshi is, what if before the boss level, that level before it was a Yoshi level in each world? That way you could have one Yoshi in the box art and it still feels important enough to the game. I also like how the Yoshis are different colours, and I don't know why you just removed that. That was kind of lame. Also, I feel like because of things like checkpoints and such, using the character's colour, I kinda wish the Yoshis did that too. Oh, and I haven't even talked about the bosses or castles yet. So yes, the main threat outside of Bowser is the Koopalings. I know there's people out there who aren't really huge on the Koopalings and think they're a waste in 2, U, and Mario Kart 8. I'ma be real, I love these guys. It also just must have been really cool for Nintendo fans at the time to just see these characters after them just not being in anything for so long. I mean, they appeared in Mario plus Luigi, but outside of that, they last appeared in like Mario World, I think. I also just want to say, these guys have really wacky designs that are all different colours and all look really nice and uniform together. But then you have Morton. Everyone else, they have the same like coloured bodies and such, and then the different coloured hair and accessories. And then Morton's just cosplaying as Paul Stanley. Would Kiss in this universe be called Koopa, or... As for their levels, I love these castle levels so much. They're really fun, use a whole load of really interesting and new mechanics that just are fun to play through. There's not too much to say there, it's just really enjoyable. I also love that the midway ones also go vertically instead of horizontally. I also love the fact that a lot of these guys just end up deciding to play Sniper Elite 4 and just try and shoot you down even though you can't see them until the fight itself. As for the fights themselves, they've all got to be jumped on 3 times, can shoot magic. They also have this little spinny motion they go after they get hit where they go in their shell. Pretty fun. but then they're also really open to unique mechanics and ideas. Things like the environment or extra abilities. This is stuff like Roy's bigger pipes with the heavier pipe sounds, Wendy's water, Lemmy's bouncy balls, Morton's spike beams, Iggy's in a flat out chomp chariot. Wait, is this a Mario Kart Double Dash reference? We even get to fight Kamek and Bowser Jr. in their own battles, which are really fun, like dealing with all these blocks with the PlayStation symbols on them, bouncing exploding spike balls into Bowser Jr.'s clown car, stuff like that. Oh, and the final boss against Bowser is just brilliant. You start with a typical Bowser fight where you make him fall into lava, or, because they give you a fire flower before the fight, you can also kill him with fire. It's your choice. I like that. After you kill him and press this switch here, you think you got an upgrade, but Kamek isn't into plumbers with mustaches, so he brings Bowser back, and now Bowser's in this giant form. He lets out this more intense roar that lets you know he's pissed. With that, the redder eyes, oh, you can tell he is so much more intimidating now, and the size only adds to it tenfold. On the music, wow. I didn't talk about the music much in this game because, I mean, honestly, the music's fantastic, but I wanted to wait till this point for a reason. The music's amazing, and this theme here, this rivals Mario Galaxy soundtrack. The soundtrack is amazing, and this final boss one just reminds me so much of the final bosses in Galaxy or 3D World. I also go out of my way here to just talk about the visuals a bit because the art style's fantastic. All these levels have all these different colours and vibes, and they all hit them so perfectly. And of course, for this final boss, wow, everything just looks so intimidating and terrifying, and I love it. Well, as terrifying as a kid's game can be. A kid's game featuring a redhead ninja turtle. As for the gameplay, we then need to run in a battle of avoiding Bowser while platforming, which just really fits Mario so well as it is a platformer. They even add to this by giving you a propeller mushroom in the second half of this encounter. They really want to test what you've learned through this game. After Peach is saved, we then get credits where you can vandalize the names of all the people who worked on the game. What an awful thank you from us players. I also love how the characters that aren't being played as just dance using the game's own controls and movements. That's funny. Ah yes, I love programming. Save at any time's an unlock? Yeah, I kind of forgot to mention that. You can only save after beating a boss. Weird, I know, right? And that was New Super Mario Bros. Wii. I gotta say, it really does feel super all these years later. Yes, we can joke about how, oh, it's got new in the name, but then the system, it's on its 20 years old now. I don't think that takes away from anything at all, personally. The game really is a 10 out of 10 game for me. But then the thing with a Mario game, unlike another series where I might say, oh, this game's 10 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10 or whatever, with the Mario games, because of how simple they are, in terms of just what the games are, no matter how much they do with that, unless I just dive into every level or every world, I can't make a giant video out of it to show how much I love it in the same way I can with Garden Warfare 2. But trust me, I fucking love these games so much. They mean so much to me. They are peak fun as far as I'm concerned. And I'm glad I can share that with you. That doesn't mean I care about them any less. These games are peak fun to me. Mario is my favourite franchise of all time. And I'm glad that now I've actually talked about it in a video, I can do that more whenever I want, talk about more Mario games, because I want you guys to know why I love this series so much and what I love about the entries I cover. Overall though, I definitely recommend picking up a controller and playing New Super Mario Bros. Wii.